and you can start.
Awesome. Thanks, Jenny. Really appreciate it. Welcome, everybody. I'm Della Ludwig. I'm the Workforce Strategy Consultant with the Department of Employment, Economic Development. And joining me is Jenny Tice with Midwest Manufacturing Association and Carolyn Petruga. And she is also with MMA, and they partner with Central Minnesota Manufacturing Association, or CMMA. I do sit on the board with CMMA, and this is a collaborative that we do together with DEED and CMMA. So welcome, everybody. I'm so glad that you're all here. We're going to be talking about the upcoming October Manufacturing Month and all the fun things that we have planned. And just want to make sure that everybody knows this is open conversation. Definitely be using chat. Throw your questions in there. Let us know what we can help you with. We want to make sure that this is a successful event for you, and anything and everything that you need answered. We want to make sure that we discuss that today. So we're going to go ahead and do a deep dive. Let me see here if I can go ahead and move forward. So Manufacturing Month actually started, gosh, by CMMA. Can you believe this? It started as a tour, and it was kind of based off of the tour homes. So, and now it's just evolved into this great event for the entire state of Minnesota, and now even nationally. And what it's focused on is really educating youth and job seekers and career changers about the career opportunities available in manufacturing. Manufacturing is one of the largest industries in the state of Minnesota, and it continues to just increase. And the pay scale is just phenomenal. Average pay is just a little under $79,000 in this industry. So we want to make sure that we're celebrating not only the industry itself, but the self-sustaining wages that are available in manufacturing. And then tour manufacturing facilities in our community. Nobody ever knows what's in those big buildings in our communities, and we want to make sure this is a great opportunity for those open houses, and people get that opportunity to go in and see what's going on, what's being made, and all the different items that are shipped around the world and make us such a success throughout not only Minnesota and in the States, but again, around the world. And then just acknowledging and celebrating manufacturing as an industry, as it is a critically important part of Minnesota's diverse economy. We continue to grow. It represents 12% of the domestic product here in Minnesota. And as it continues to grow, we have one of the largest industries available. And I believe by 2032, there's going to be over 93,000 job openings in manufacturing production. So again, we want to keep being great cheerleaders for this and making sure that everybody's aware of manufacturing. And that's why one of the main reasons that we continue to do this. You're going to see on all of these that we have the hashtag MN Manufacturing Month. We're also using the hashtag MN Manufacturing Week. Make sure you're using either of those. Both of them are great opportunities and good ways to connect with the state of Minnesota and just for us to track everything. What we have, some of the main events and activities that we have going on, we have listed here. We have a proclamation from the governor. We all know he's pretty busy right now, but we will have that posted on our career force page starting on September 30th. And then we also have the tour of manufacturing, as well as school tours that are being set up in our communities. We also have the virtual magazine that quite a few of our businesses that are on our webinar today are highlighted. And then we're also doing individual presentations in our communities as well as at the schools, making sure that they understand how important our manufacturing industry is in our communities. And then we're doing special media blogs, posts, and also newspaper articles. Jenny just did a great job with the Cold Spring record, and they wrote a great article about the upcoming month. And we have that also, not only was it in the newspaper, but we have that posted on our social media. Our first Wednesday of every month, we have a Workforce Wednesday, and that is highlighted by our workforce strategy team, which is myself, and I see James is with us today too. And that is going to be focusing on all of our training strategies, and that is going to be on October 2nd, and that is from 11 until 12:30. And definitely feel free to sign up for that event. And then Career Force is doing a bunch of activities and events, including job fairs throughout the month of October. And what else do we have? Minnesota State Advanced Manufacturing Center of Excellence has events and activities as well as a ton of resources. And then Diversity in Manufacturing and Initiative, which we call DEMI. Of course, we love our acronyms. That event will be taking place in St. Paul on October 10th. So this is a ton of information we're throwing at you today. We will be sharing this entire PDF with you with all of these links and all of these resources. So don't feel like you have to write everything and anything down. But Jenny will be sharing a lot of the highlights in the chat as well. Again, kudos to CWMF. They were the manufacturer of the year this year, and they are highlighted on CMMA's Central Minnesota Manufacturing Tour magazine this year. We do have 11 in-person tours and 9 virtual tours happening in Central Minnesota this year. So again, congratulations.
Thank you. Carmi's calling me because she wants the link to get in this webinar, and I'm trying to figure out how to share that with her.
Oh,
Jenny,
sure. Jenny, do you want to share the Zoom link in the chat?
Yes, let me grab that, Kate, and
okay.
I'll share it with you in just a second.
Perfect.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome. Carmi's going to join us too. And
Yeah.
Carmi's the president, correct?
Yep, correct.
Awesome. Carmi wants to join us as well. Wonderful. So again, it's not too late for people to be participating. So feel free to set a date, even if you're not sure. I just had one of our virtual um, manufacturers contact me, new flyer. They're like, okay, now we're ready to set a date. Perfect. Let's set that date. Let's get going on that. We can still do that for businesses if they're not sure. That's why a lot of businesses chose to do a virtual date. That's just so people can contact them directly and set up a tour to do more of a one-on-one event. Not a problem. You can connect manufacturing employers directly with us, the Workforce Strategy team. Feel free to reach out to us directly. There's 6 of us throughout the state of Minnesota. I represent the central Minnesota area, and I cover 13 counties in this area, and can definitely connect you not only with the different chambers and HRAs and EDAs, but also with the schools in your communities to make sure it is a successful event. We also want to make sure that the manufacturers are doing some of that legwork too and reaching out directly to those communities and those leaders. Because sometimes if they hear it directly from the manufacturer, they're more receptive, and you're in that community directly, and they will set that up more easily with you with that one-on-one connection. We also have a contact directly at Career Force, and Liz Jennings. I put her information in there. If you do not have a Career Force contact, you can definitely reach out either to Liz, or you can find your Career Force location and reach out to them to set up a hiring event at their location, or to find out what is happening in your area. And then make sure that you're posting your tours or attend any of the tours that are listed on the Minnesota State Advanced Manufacturing Center of Excellence website. Jamie Meyer is the contact. I put her email in here as well. and feel free to reach out to them. So again, if you're a manufacturer, make sure you're listed on their website. Otherwise, if you want to attend any tours, you can contact Jamie directly or just go to their website. We want to really, really push social media. Um, it's a great way for you to be advertising your events, and it's free or little cost to you. Make sure that you're encouraging your employees to share and say or like those events and really push as much as possible. Facebook, people think Facebook is old. We get the most activity out of our Facebook just because of parents and grandparents are a great way to share that message. So for our community planners that are on today, we want to make sure that they're reaching out to their local manufacturers. And we do have a community tour resource for them to highlight and do those step-by-step resources. And then the chamber, reaching out to your chamber, either if you're a manufacturer or if you are that community liaison. Many of our businesses, I know the town of Painesville, they do a visit a manufacturer once a week, and the chamber hosts that or sets that up, and then the business actually does the luncheon. So it's a really great way for once a week for the businesses to be highlighted and for the community to go to each of the different manufacturers once a week. Another thing that is done is for the chamber and the schools to work together and highlight one or two of their businesses in their communities. A great thing that Amy does in her community is they call it a cool jobs tour, and they do it after school where they go from and they encourage the parents to participate, and they go to many different businesses and they spend, maybe a half hour to 45 minutes at each of the businesses, and then they do a little hop, and then at the end they have a panel and they serve them dinner, and then they can talk to those businesses and the panel to talk about manufacturing. And it's a great way to highlight the community as well as get the parents and the students involved. And then set up those lunch and learns with your grant opportunities, safety, other programs. This can be done through your chambers, doing this kind of event, highlighting your manufacturers, bringing in somebody from the state or from the Department of Labor, DEED, or other types of training opportunities just to thank your manufacturers. And don't forget to write local press releases. We have them available for you. One of the businesses yesterday reached out to us asking for that press release, and we made sure we gave them that. And we're going to show you where everything is in just a minute. But make sure that you're writing these press releases, and it can be the typical press release, or it can be something written specifically on your business, highlighting something that you've done it within your company, highlighting one of your business employees, what you're doing with the schools. Maybe it's something you've done sponsoring a robotics team. Do a different twist on that article, and what you're doing with your community. And then visiting manufacturing, another thing a community can do is just visit the manufacturers and just thank them for being part of the community, and bring them some treats and give them the manufacturing certificate. We have lots of these available on our Career Force page. And then again, use social media and use that hashtag so things are highlighted. So then manufacturers, how do you prepare for this big event and big day? What should you be doing? So a lot of you have already set your date, you know when you're going to do it, but what now? A lot of people, since they knew this date way in advance, they made sure this summer during the parade season that they were handing out different flyers during the parades. Others are sending out postcards. Um, Others are making sure that the local paper is aware of their event. They're contacting their schools, making sure that they're putting flyers up anywhere at the local banks and cafes, making sure that they're doing as much legwork as possible. Yes, we have the magazine. Yes, we're helping with this, but that's just one of the avenues that we're marketing it. We want to make sure that you also are doing the additional advertising that's needed. We will be doing some radio, but again, that's another great avenue to add on to that, just because our funding is only so much of the marketing. You yourself can also do additional things with that. And then reach out to your chamber directly if you're a chamber member. Reach out to your EDA and your HRA. If you've done any type of add-ons, reaching out to the people that assist it with you, asking them to come to your tours, ask them to invite people to your tours, and ask them to also share your events on social media. Sometimes the tour of manufacturing doesn't make sense to the public, so call it an open house so that the local community understands what the event is and they have a true vision of the event. And then making sure that you invite your families and friends of the employees, and then combine it with some sort of appreciation for your employees. Having some sort of grill out event or always having it around food makes it more successful. And then reaching out to the schools. I know Jenny and Carolyn have been super busy reaching out to everybody who's in the magazine, asking them if they need assistance with the schools. If you're in the magazine, we do have additional funding available and are sponsoring busing for you to have that opportunity to have the schools come to your tour. And it doesn't have to be on the same day. Don't feel like if you're doing your tour and you're going to be focused on your tour that day, don't feel like you have to have 100 kids there that same day and like this is too much. They can be separate events, separate days, and even the tours of the kids. If you don't want 3 buses of kids on the same day, you don't have to cram it in all on the same day. We can help you plan accordingly with those buses. And then make sure that people know what to wear. Make sure that they know that the kids can't have, shorts on, and adults know that they can't have, the flip-flops on, and that they're prepared on what the tour will be about. And make sure that when you're doing the presentation, it's to the audience as well. And then make sure the location is clean and it's not as hazardous as maybe a normal day would be. And have signage so they know where to park and it's easy to find the entrance. And then make sure people know too, is it handicap accessible or are there elevators if needed, or there are stairs, those type of things. And then the day of, okay, there's a lot of pressure once it's the day of. Make sure people know what to wear. Tell your employees to have the right logoed attire on. If you have special shirts that from your, like if you're from CWMF, make sure they have their CWMF attire on that day, just so people on the floor, even if they're not giving tours, everybody knows who everybody is. It's just a great representation of your company. Make sure you have greeters throughout the company, throughout the organization. Make sure everybody within your organization knows what's going on. So everybody's got their, special smiling faces on and saying hi to everybody who's walking around. Make sure they know it's fun and social and have that sign-in area. Ask for names, addresses, phone numbers. You're kind of building your profiles with people. Maybe you want to send thank yous after. It could be, when you're having conversations with people like, oh, you see that Tim has a special interest. You may want to follow up with him later and, let him know that you had job openings. Make sure that there's name tags. Have flyers on the table with special openings, what your pay scales are, and have it for all openings. It might not just be for your manufacturing positions that you're hiring for. It might be somebody who is looking for that financial position or the HR position. Make sure that they're aware that it's not just a manufacturing positions that are available. And then make sure everybody has the proper PPE, the safety glasses, the hard hats, everything that, before they start that tour. And then have that table up front with the videos playing of your business, the cool stuff that's going on. Make sure that they know, what kind of products you're making. Have some of those examples up front. Make sure they know where they're getting shipped to. Have a map of, this is where all of these items go to. It's nothing cooler than to say, we ship all over the world, and this is where these items go to. Have the names of the companies that you sell to. We sell to John Deere, we sell to, whoever. It's super cool for companies to brag that up. And then, of course, feed people. Have the treats, have the coffee, have the water. You don't have to go overboard on this, but just to have the snacks.
Della,
Definitely make sure. Oh,
one
go
thing
ahead, Jenny.
I would share here is try to think of planning this for somebody who knows nothing about manufacturing or your company. Because I think a lot of times, I know even here we start using words and terminology. And when I was reading some of the ads in the magazine this year, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't really understand what that means. And also, I cannot highlight this enough. If you sell a product that has a name brand on it, let people know. Or if you sell a product and this product, and you can share this information. I'm not talking about like, if you have NDAs and stuff, but if you sell a product and that's used to, for example, make an airplane, like people just eat that up. We don't realize that in our own backyard here in central Minnesota, all of the amazing things that you all do and make, not only for our community, but for the state of Minnesota, for the United States, and even worldwide. So brag.
Absolutely. This is your chance to do that and really have them understand what this is. So definitely do that. And then obviously the one time you want to feed the people giving the tours, those kind of things, you want to make sure they're taken care of and maybe have a special area for those people that they get their meals and stuff in a different area. And then do giveaways, have something that, some sort of takeaway. I know last year, Two Rivers, they gave little cutting boards and they had it imprinted. And I still like, oh my gosh, I have my little cutting board from there. And, just fun things that there's a little takeaway for people to have with your emblem on it or your logo on it, which is always a really nice thing to do. And then, if they're little gift bags, then make sure that you have your job openings, your information in there. And then always have that table set up with the job applications. Have somebody there at the end. Do you have any questions? Is there anything else we can help you with? If you have t-shirts, even if they're your old t-shirts, things that, that you can give away. People love that stuff. So make sure the people that are giving the tours are the people that are your social butterflies. Make sure they understand your products. Make sure that you know what you want to highlight on these tours. Make sure that they can break it down for people, not just saying, like Jenny said, the CNC machine, the lathe machine, it's like, what does that mean? What are they doing with that? Where, You know, what kind of experience do you need to run that machine? How long does that machine run? How do we program that? And where does that product then end up? And then make sure you're talking about the skills needed and the pay. And then encourage participation. Make sure that you're asking them, do you have any questions? You know, do you know anybody who works in this industry? Things like that, just to really pull them in. And take lots of pictures. And if they can't take pictures, you just tell them that. You know, we'll be taking pictures of the tours, but unfortunately we don't allow you to take pictures on the tours. Just make sure that they know what the rules are while they're on the tour. People are very understanding. But you should be taking the pictures and making sure that you can, you know, post them. And if you don't have them sign anything that you can post their personal photo, just make sure you have the back of the people, and you can still post photos of them. And then I have the hashtags on here that are super popular. Again, post before the event, during the event, after the event. Ask people to be tagging them, sharing them, liking them. And then I already talked about having that application table, having the gift table, having the snacks. Feel free to survey people. You can even do the send the thank yous, but if you found people that have that certain like you know, like are super interested, make sure you're going back and highlight. I used to be in HR, so I would go back and star their names or highlight them and be like, I am definitely following up with Tim or Joe or John. And I would make sure I knew like they were interested in this position or they asked questions about this machine. And I would make sure that they knew of certain things about it. And always do that follow up as much and as quickly as possible. And then after the event, do another press release. And maybe it's a different magazine or maybe it's just online, but doing as much of that as possible. And here's for the schools. The schools, we have a few of them online with us today. You know, we have a lot of different resources available. We'll definitely be sharing all of this information too. We have some flyers. We have some career outlook information. Again, the pay scale is on just under 79,000. It's 10% higher than any other industry in the state of Minnesota. We want to make sure that that magazine is getting out to the students and parents. So if that can be shared, I know a lot of this can be shared weekly or monthly to the parents. We want the schools to be doing that. We do have busing grants available that we are continually approving through CMMA, and there's other opportunities too. We do have the K-12 Navigator, employers as well as schools. Definitely make sure that your information is on the K-12 Navigator. This is a great way, and it's a free resource for our businesses as well as our schools to be connecting with the community. It's a free resource and it gives the schools the opportunity and businesses the opportunity to know who to connect with and start those conversations. And then those hands-on career fairs for students to interact. We definitely have a lot of those going on in the fall in our communities, but we will continue to do the individual manufacturing tours as well, because we really think it's important for the students to come to the manufacturers and see hands-on events. And then develop that U-Skills training or apprenticeship programs at your school. U-Skills training is a great opportunity for businesses to work directly with the schools. It's a grant that's given by the Department of Labor. And some of our schools in our communities have received this. Elk River Rogers has received this twice. Rock Quarry just recently received it Princeton has received this. So if you're not familiar with this, definitely reach out to us. We can give you more information. But it's a program for youth 16 and older to work with manufacturers and other businesses to do training at different businesses and work on getting different types of certifications directly with that business. And then CMMA does offer membership for schools, and we do have a ton of different grants for schools that we pay for, Vex Robotics and equipment at schools, those kind of things. So be aware of that. And then we do have teachers' guides. We have safety glasses that we can offer. And then again, Jamie does have a video contest for schools. If you want to make a video, I believe it's $1,000 that they're offering. And I think that's due by, I think, February. So again, great opportunity just to get the schools involved with manufacturing. All right, so we have some CMMA resources, and I think I'm going to have Carolyn share her screen for a little bit and just take us right to the CMMA page if it's possible. So I'm going to stop sharing and see if she can. Hi, Nate. I gave you a shout out and I didn't even know you were on. How about that?
Thank you. Good afternoon.
So Carolyn, I don't know if you can share. Um, there we go. So we have the CMMA resource page here, and it's a great way for you guys just to have some of the resources right at your fingertips. And on here we have a toolkit, and it's down on the left-hand side. So if you go down, and you can see here on the left-hand side here, we have some sponsorship information. We have the Tour of Manufacturing Host Toolkit. We have the CMMA Host Toolkit. We have a tour guide, and we have a virtual tour guide. So there's some different resources there on the left-hand side for you guys to go into. We have logos, we have press releases, we have the Belmont Partners information, we have bus grant information. And again, the virtual magazine can be found on this page. And we have the K-12 Navigator information all available for you. So this is one of the great resources that we always have you go to. But if you cannot find what you need, definitely reach out to Carolyn or I, and we can definitely assist with whatever you need, because it is a lot of information. And sometimes too, I myself am like, okay, where is it? And how can I find it quickly? So we do have the resources for you, and we just always want to make sure that they're available to you. Now we're going to go and flip to Carolyn, if you can go to the Career Force resource website. So on this page, we have a ton of resources too. And on this page, we have some fillable manufacturing certificates down below. And this is for those community advocates that are on here, or even schools. If you want to give this certificate to the schools or to the businesses that you're working with, saying thank you. Here's a certificate for Manufacturing Month, or if you work closely with the chamber and just say, hey, heads up, here's a great proclamation or a certificate. You should be giving this to all the manufacturers. Definitely do that. But you can see on here, there's a student flyer. It's a great reasons to pick a career in manufacturing. We have adult flyers out here. Great information for you guys to be sharing within your community or at your schools. So again, great information. And then the last one, Carolyn, if you can just go to the Minnesota State Advanced Manufacturing Center. And this one is a great resource as well. Now, this is where you can, manufacturers can post their tour or you can find a tour. Okay. So here we're going to go down and you can see that they have the state divvied up and they have different areas throughout the state, and each area then has a different person in charge. And we're going to keep going down a little bit more, Carolyn. And then you can see if you're hosting a tour, you can put your information in here, and then we'll keep going down a little bit more. You can find a tour in your community, and we'll keep going. Tour resources. This is a good area. So you can see they have a bunch of guides out here. They have videos, they have templates if you need safety glasses. And who doesn't, right? Even if you're a school, here's a great area to get some safety glasses, even if you just need them for your school. You know, put the request in and just stock up on them and have them just saved at your school. They also do have some bus funding available that you can request directly, other information available, and then we can keep going down. And then they do have their different regional contacts. All right, and then if you want to stop sharing, I'll try to take it back over if I know what I'm doing. We tried practicing this, so I'll try not to bite my tongue.
Well, Della is getting the PowerPoint pulled back up. Does anybody have any questions so far that you want answered?
And Jenny, is it showing again?
Yes. Except now we see your slide and your notes on the next slide.
Are you gonna have these notes posted anywhere for us to find? I'm like trying to keep up, but a lot of
Yes.
info.
Yes, Kate, we'll send out a copy of the PowerPoint
Awesome.
with our thank you
Okay.
note.
Good deal. Thank you.
You're
Yes,
welcome.
we'll share all of this because it's so much information. And we were trying to like just make sure we had all the links for you. We just wanted to just kind of break it down. So we had the school information, and I'm trying it again. The school information, everything kind of like community, school, and manufacturers. And then from there, then make it a little easier for everybody who's attending, just because we have so many different people attending. So how's that? Is that better?
Yeah, that looks great, Della.
Okay, thank you. Um, So, and then you'll see on here, I even put in here a CMMA page, but we just wanted to make it a little more live for you. And then we have a career force page for you. And we have a Minnesota State Advanced Manufacturing Center of Excellence page. But again, we just wanted you to see it live, just so you, when you went to the page, you weren't like, okay, now where am I supposed to find the information? So we just wanted you to see the actual page yourself. So when you got there, you weren't like, okay, where is this actual information? And then we do have an event coming up, and I did say this at the beginning. It's a diversity in manufacturing event that's going to be on October 10th. That's going to be down in the cities at our headquarters, and that's going to be from 9 till noon at St. Paul. And you can email myself or James or at Ajewa, and we can get you the itinerary or information on this. Or actually, I'll just send it to Carolyn and she can just include it with the flyer or with the PDF. And you guys can just see all the details on this. We're just really wanting to diversify manufacturing more, just because of the need of the workforce and just the great opportunity with the pay scale. So just a great thing that we're trying to do here. So I believe right now, let's see here, in 2023, BIPOC workers make up 17%, while women make up 30% of the overall manufacturing workforce in manufacturing. So it's just something that we feel with the pay scale and the opportunities, we just want to make sure that we are diversifying manufacturing as well. Did I leave the meeting?
Nope, you're still here.
Okay. All right. So Jenny, do we have any questions out there?
I have not had any questions come in, but I have been filling up chat with all these fabulous links that you have today. And again, we will include this in a thank you message to each of you so that you have these links. If there's something that we talked about today that you're just you have additional questions about, both Della and James have we have their email addresses in there, and then I am going to put my coworker Carolyn's email in here as well. You can contact Carolyn at the for any resources from the Central Minnesota Manufacturers Association.
And June, I see that you're on here from Stare at Truestone. June, you've done a couple of these tour manufacturing in the past. Do you have any advice for those that haven't done a tour before?
Well, I think you pretty much covered everything that we've done in the past. So getting the word out there and covering the right audience is a kind of a struggle, but if you keep at it, you can get some people in.
Yeah. Is Michelle with you too, June?
No, Michelle's at the job fair.
Okay. One thing that June and does with their tour is they really want college students to attend. So they offer a college scholarship for the students that are at that are college students that participate or attend their tour. So they really do a push for those college students to attend their tour. So I think that's a really cool little highlight or a different little twist on making sure that they get the right audience at their event. So I think that's really neat.
Let's see, Kate, you had some questions about busing.
Yeah, I'm
might
just
you-
kind of curious more about that process. I understand like you had reached out, Jenny, and asked for some names of schools that we might want you to reach out to on our behalf. So I'm just kind of curious what that process looks like. So I sent you, a handful of schools in the area. And then are you doing like an intro email, or did you just reach out to them and say, hey, maybe you want to go check out CWMF? Or how does that, can you tell me more about how that works?
Sure. So with those manufacturers that told us specific schools they wanted, I had Carolyn reach out to those schools and let them know, hey, CWMF has requested that you come and tour them. We also let schools know that they didn't have to specifically come during, your tour time, that they could that they can call and tour at different times. Our busing grants are located on our CMMA manufacturing or Tour of Manufacturing website. Schools can complete those grant applications, and we will provide busing to any company that is part of our Tour of Manufacturing. So for example, because I can see Nate and Kate both on my screen, and because I know we reached out to Ricori to say, why don't you head on over to CWMF? We can have Ricori fill out a busing grant, and then they'll have busing funds to cover the bus to go over and set up a personal tour, Kate, for CWMF.
Okay, so the schools typically walk through that process, or you help them walk through that process, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And yes, Nate, you should totally come to CWMF with the Rockori people. Because I went there, and that makes sense.
Oh, Kate, I went there too.
I know, we talked about this when you came in, so did,
Oh,
Watson.
sorry.
Yeah, we got
Yes.
a
My brother
whole
went there.
Rockori crew here.
I
Nate,
didn't go here.
you're getting a lot of pressure. Well,
Carolyn,
so did Amy. Amy, how come you're not saying anything?
I'm multitasking, sorry. Yes, I went to Rockori. Proud graduate.
Poor Nate.
Carolyn,
Um,
are you still on? Do you want to talk about the communication that you have done with schools this year for the tour?
Sure. We emailed all contacts we had for the school, from the superintendent to the CTE teacher, and just with the link of how to sign up for busing, and said, hey, CWMF really would like to see you come and meet with them or tour their facility. So please, here's the contact information, and try to help them as much as possible, point them in the right direction. So
Okay.
hopefully, there's been an uptick in bus grant requests from that.
And it's a super easy form for them too.
Oh,
We do
yeah.
not ask a lot from them. It's a one pager, super easy. Where you going? How many people? Approximately how much do you think it's going to cost? And then we then basically cut the check. It's not a huge, long process for them. So, again, if they're going to one of the tours or manufacturers in the magazine, it's pretty simple. Now, if they're going to businesses outside of the tour, we do have other funding available from the state, and then we just make other contacts for them. It's not a no, it's just a different process. And we just make those connections for them. But for CMMA, it's a pretty easy cut and dry, simple form.
Okay, and do we get a heads up if a school is like, yeah, we decided we do want to come tour CWMF?
Yes, then
get
we
it.
turn that over to you because we
Okay.
want you to build that relationship and connections with those schools. And then you decide on the date, the time, all of that. We want you to have that relationship with that school.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
And Kate, if there are any schools that you need contact information for, you reach out to Carolyn, and she can get you that information.
Yep, and I would be happy to even reach out to that school for you.
Sure.
Yeah, because I don't know who has or hasn't responded, but so if you need contact, I'm happy to do that.
Awesome, thank you.
Right. Mike Kaluza, I don't know if you have any questions or want to do an introduction.
I have those 23 central Minnesota schools, and some did reach out, and so hopefully that Steve, who's the central person, got those requests. But I had sent it out a couple times to my schools, and it sounded like they just needed a few more details on things. And I kind of had mentioned to them, I said, even if you don't know the date yet, that you would go put in for it, so you guys can budget that type of stuff out. So I haven't talked to Steve about it at all, but hopefully there's a few for that area.
That is perfect. Definitely. And if you have any questions, reach out to us and we can help out too. So where are you located, Mike?
So my area covers as far west as Wadena, Monaga, Sabika, up to Pine River, all the way over to Aiken and Isle down to Little Falls, Upsala. So
Perfect.
we're kind of in a couple different areas. But in talking to Steve, because I think I cover 4 different areas, is
Mhm.
that we just kind of use the Central Minnesota Manufacturing Tour registration. And so
Okay.
Steve said those should get to the right person when those are submitted. So
Sounds
yeah.
good. Sounds good. Yeah, and then James Whirlwind Soldier is on right now too. So he's another great connection within the Department of Employment to talk to. And there he is. Hi, James.
Hi. Yeah, please reach out if you need anything. here to help.
Yes, and his email is in the chat too, Mike. And we can help on other projects as well. Excellent. Carmi, do you have any questions that Kate didn't ask, or anybody else have anything that they want to discuss?
Nope, I'm good.
Awesome. Nate, you've been pretty quiet. Not used to that.
What, I thought I was always quiet. I'm just making my list of things to do here to make sure I get it all done. So we've got a lot of irons in the fire right now, so
I
I
bet.
should probably reconnect with you soon as well.
Yeah, that would be great. Would love to see where you're going. Nate is one of the newest recipients of the U Skills training, or Rakori is. So would love to hear how that's going with that grant and what you have planned. So wonderful. Well, thank you, everybody. If you have any questions, please let us know. We'll get the PDF out to you quickly with all of the information, all of the links. Hopefully this was useful to everybody. If you need anything else, please reach out.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Della.
Have a great
Yeah,
afternoon.
Della, I'll just say this is great stuff, and kind of doing this the first time, the way you have it organized. So anybody who's a business, especially who was unsure of how this would even work, you've laid it out pretty easy, I think, for them. So I think the resources there are great, and hopefully we can work on expanding this even more in the future.
Absolutely. We would love to see that, Mike. Great.
You rock, Della.
Thanks, James. I paid him to say that. Thanks, everybody.
Have a great afternoon.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
MMA team, do you got a second?